Welcome to the Embrace the Turn Up podcast. Cultural commentary from two guys who want all the smoke. All the smoke. And now your hosts, A-Dub and John.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Embrace the Turn Up podcast. It is your boy, A-Dub, the tribal pod chief, if you will, the pod god. And not joining me, as always, the homie John. Gave the brother the week off. He's been going Put-in Bay crazy. He's been in these streets working like a madman. And, I said, you know what? Sleep in a little bit, buddy. We got this. And also, I want to deep dive into some topics. And John's a very surface level type of guy. So joining me, as you OGs will remember, one-time producer, all-time friend of the show, Henrods is in the building. And Reezy, Henry, say what's up to the people.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be back. It's been a while.
Welcome back. So, Henry, I brought you on this week. Just, want to just get deep into some of these things that I think are, one, hilarious, and two, very important to the future of everything. So let's just hop right into it, bro. Daniel Snyder.
There are a lot of words that I could use to describe him. Not many that I say often.
Wow. So if you guys haven't been keeping up, obviously he was required to sell the team. He sold the team, made like $3 billion. Fuck him. But now this report is coming out from ESPN.com, a fantastic article of how he just decided, hey, I'm going to blow all this shit up.
Yeah, I believe the term is scorched earth.
Yeah. Henry, what was the craziest part of this whole thing to you?
Besides just how all interconnected it seems,
yeah,
I think the ending note of John Gruden and his lawsuits with the NFL and how much money he's going to make out of all this, because discovery is a thing, and we'll get to that at the end. But discovery is a thing, and the NFL's not going to want that to happen.
Everybody except for Jim Irsay, right?
Yeah.
Jim Irsay, like, fuck it. You can't embarrass me more than I embarrass myself. Just put it all out there. I think one of the most important things I think people should take away from this article on ESPN.com and this whole situation is that if you're ever in a situation with somebody and you realize that person's crazy enough to blow this up for everybody, back away slowly. Because there's always somebody. You should always be in the room when you're not the smartest person in the room, but you should never be in the room where you're not the craziest person in the room. And that being said, you want to be sane. You want to be the sanest and the craziest person in the room at all time. If you're not the craziest person in the room, you might want to look around and decide if you want to back away or not. Do you want to see what's on that blackmail PowerPoint? Because I do.
Oh, of course.
More than anything.
So yeah,
more than anything.
To set that up, Daniel Snyder already had some stuff come out against him or about him, some leaked emails, which it gets into. Jay-Z gets involved in this somehow. Well, I guess. Do you want to just start from the beginning? Or you just want to start with the blackmail PowerPoint?
I'll start with the blackmail PowerPoint.
Okay. So yeah, Dan Snyder already had some stuff come out in an email leak to the New York Times. So Dan Snyder goes, you know what? If I'm going down, everyone can go down with me, and I'm going to show them just how to do it. Walks into an owners meeting and says, all right, everybody, I need you to watch. And throws up a PowerPoint and goes, if I did stuff wrong, here's an example of everything else people have done wrong in this room.
So crazy.
And just basically says, here's my bomb. Do not let me set it off.
Yeah, could you just imagine being one of the other owners? You guys are talking about how you're going to steal more money from people and hide more concussions and shit like that. And then you realize he crazy. He heard the rumors that we were going to try to get him the fuck up out of here. He gonna get us all the fuck up out of here. I couldn't imagine like the shock over everybody's faces in that owners meeting, except for Jim Irsay, of course. It's just so crazy. Like, and the Jay-Z component of it to me is very interesting because NFL goes to Rock Sports because they realize they have this issue with like racial issues within the league. And then because they have that, Jay-Z gets them to start donating to some wildly interesting causes, if you will. And the thing is, now they can't back down because not only you can't say, "Oh, we had these bad racial issues, so we brought in Jay-Z," but now we gotta get rid of him too. Oh, because that would look terrible.
Yeah, I do want to correct something. Sorry. The email leak to the New York Times was about John Gruden. Dan Snyder was being investigated for sexual assault or harassment or some sort of harassment in the Washington football team's organization, or Washington Commanders, as they are now known. So he was being investigated.
It's still the R word at that point, but yes.
He was being investigated for something completely independent, but he saw these emails come out, and in order to, it all ties together in such a, the Always Sunny meme where Charlie Day is just pinpointing everything.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite memes. Absolutely.
That could be based on this story, and I would not doubt it at all. So I am sorry if I get details jumbled up. There's a lot.
There's a lot going on here.
So no, the emails were about John Gruden. Dan Snyder was being investigated for sexual assault or harassment or some other sort of nefarious things going on within the Washington organization. But he knew he was being investigated by the NFL on this and went to the NFL and said, all of these other people have gotten away with this heinous crap. What have I done differently? And interestingly, that then worked because he wasn't suspended. He was, and a statement came out that he was stepping away. The problem was when he then turned over more emails related to Gruden, who was no longer in Washington. And the owners saw it as directly tampering with other organizations and basically said, okay, kids' gloves are coming off, and fired him.
Yeah, you just got to go at this point. It's very interesting though, like Dan Snyder swears up and down that he didn't leak all of this stuff, but like he knows like how much Gruden and Goodell hate each other. So, it would seem to his benefit to like leak this stuff out to kind of save his own skin, to get the press off his back, put him on Roger, put him on John, pit them against each other. And like, so for him to say, yeah, I had nothing to do with this, like, come on, guy. Come on.
Yeah.
Guy.
And I think that's
1 + 1 is always 2.
Enough. It's often enough. So I think that's another fascinating part of the story, right? Is we still don't know who actually leaked things, who leaked what, when. We have some of that information, I think, or can deduce it, but we do not have confirmed leaks or confirmed leakers for every bit of this story, even now, years down the line.
Yes. This is when like I really wish like those anonymous hackers would like really like get involved in things I care about. Like it would just be great because we could get all these motherfuckers out of here. We really want this.
Yeah. Probably.
It's just such a crazy thing, and then you add into the fact of John Gruden's lawsuit.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God, he's gonna get paid so much money.
So stepping back to Gruden. Don't think by saying Gruden is going to get paid so much money that he is coming away a saint in this. I had never heard this racial term before, so I will use it once here just to give detail on what John Gruden said in an email. DeMaurice Smith is the NFL Players Association head, and in an email, John Gruden said he had, quote, lips like Michelin tires. Now, I'd never even heard that as being a racial epithet or having racial connotations. Although I don't think it's hard to put two and two together now that I know why that would be. But yeah.
In fairness, I never heard it either. That's a different level of racism right there.
Yeah. Okay. I don't feel as bad about. Well, I guess I don't know.
I was like, damn, that's Super Saiyan levels of racism. Like I hadn't even heard that one. I thought I had heard them all.
Not only that, but he also referred to Goodell in some homophobic language, which I don't think has come out. I don't know what specific word was used there.
Was the F word?
Okay, that's not surprising. That's what I figured it was, but I didn't remember seeing it specifically.
And then the thing about that is, at the time when Gruden was using that language, he had Carl Nassib on his team, an openly gay player.
Unbelievable.
You can't make this up.
So,
I think one of the craziest things about this is, like, when you listen to former players of John Gruden talk about him, they all hate him. They all hate him for a myriad of reasons. But if you ask them, none of them would ever say, no, there's no way he's racist at all. So, and they were even shocked by this.
Yeah.
So, like, he's terrible on, like, so many levels. Like, it's mind-boggling. Like, I thought, like, when players started talking, they were going to say, yeah, I can see John Gruden being racist. Nope, it was always, yeah, I hate that man. I've always hated that man. For this, and this. But he's racist? Hard. Wow, that's shocking.
Yeah, like a lot of adjectives being thrown around. Like I said, arrogant, blowhard, hard ass, all of the above. But, like, not racist. Until the emails came out. And then
you're like, oh, racist too.
And all of those things his player describes him as. But he's going to make more money than maybe anyone other than Dan Snyder in this story made. Because, again, Dan Snyder, for all his terribleness, made how much money selling the team?
$3 billion.
$3 billion. So where Gruden comes into all this, made those comments about DeMaurice Smith, who we could also tie into this conversation as maybe not being the best person in the world, considering all of the NFL loves his policies. When you are the Players Association's head, you are supposed to be fighting for the players. The NFL probably isn't supposed to be very happy with you.
The players do not like DeMaurice Smith. No. And that is putting it very lightly.
So, continuing the trend of everyone in this story is probably terrible. So, goes back. Part of the reason John Gruden doesn't like Goodell or the NFL head at all actually is related to Al Davis, the owner,
because everything is, right?
The original owner of the Raiders. In fact, my favorite line of the entire thing is Al Davis didn't lose. Al Davis just ran out of time. Because Al Davis got away with a ton of stuff, and he typically won what he was after. Anyway, we'll put that aside. But I just wanted to use it as another example of holy crap, is the web of this story insane. So John Gruden and Goodell hate each other. John Gruden is fired because of what is in those emails. So John Gruden is currently suing the NFL. I think it's multiple suits. And the fear the NFL has is not that John Gruden might win his case. The fear the NFL has is what might come out in discovery, which is when everything that is going to be used in a case becomes public. So all of the emails that were leaked, which were not published, it was a story published about the emails. So all of those emails would come out. I hope this PowerPoint would come out.
Oh my God. I need to see it.
And basically the NFL and all of its owners would be put on blast because of presumably what's in those emails, which is bad enough that the NFL wants to protect and will pay millions, tens of millions, I'm guessing, to not have come
hundreds.
out. You think Gruden's going to get hundreds of millions?
Yeah, I think he's going to get at least 150 million. It
What?
will never be disclosed, but yes, he's going to get $100 million.
Like, think about the information about yourself that you would have to want protected to be like, yeah, I would pay $150 million to make sure this doesn't come out. Think about how bad that would have to be.
I don't have anything that bad in my life, thank God. But yeah, and the funny part about it is, if all this comes out, it still does not help. Gruden would lose this case. Because, like, all the stuff coming out, it would just say, yeah, I'm racist, but they're racist too. But still, it's in your contract to not be a shitty person, so they can fire you for that. Like, and that's the funny part about it. Like, if all this comes out, Gruden still loses his case on those grounds. And I'm not a legal expert. Don't take my word as gospel on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm racist, but they're racist too is not, hey, I should win this case. No. So the thing is, they're just going to pay out to not have this come out, even though if it came out as bad as they would look, they would win the case. It's like, I guess, win by omission, I guess?
I don't know. But
I guess they got to figure out how much is that public backlash and everything going to be worth on a monetary value versus just giving John Gruden $100 million to go away.
Yeah.
Like, and that, oh my God, it's so crazy. This is so crazy. I need more. I need more of this. I didn't realize I needed so much NFL owners drama in my life. And again, shout out to Jim Irsay out here not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Put all my shit out there. I don't care. It's fine. More for me to talk about at NA meetings and AA meetings and shit.
I loved the conversation of what do you think Dan Snyder was like during that PowerPoint when he was showing it? Do you think he was walking around to owners being like tapping them on the shoulder? Hey, this slide's about you, man. Look up. You should be proud to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Or do you think he's just hitting play and sitting back?
Ooh, I don't.
Like sit in a chair? Just
Dan Snyder seems kind of like a dick, so I would. No, I think he would walk around and just tap people on the shoulder and just kind of say, hey, remember when you said that? Remember this hooker? Oh, yeah. Remember these epithets? Yeah. And I'm sure when Jerry Jones's part came up, he sat right next to Jerry and just looked at him.
Stared him down.
And just looked at him. Stared him down. He probably did the same thing to Robert Kraft. I think some of the other owners, he definitely went to the Dolphins owner. I don't think he likes that guy either. Oh, yeah. And then...
I mean, they all fired him. He doesn't like any of them anymore.
Yeah. And he definitely went to, like, the newer owners and just kind of looked at them like, oh, y'all thought y'all was safe too? Huh? Yeah, right. We're going to see. You're going to learn today. In the words of Kevin Hart, who Dan Snyder also probably hates because, he's a black person. Oh, man. It's just... sports drama. It's so great. It's so great. So I didn't know I was going to want all of this until I got more of it. That being said, this story is it's so great, and it's so great because we're not going to get any like stories out of Hollywood this fall, like at all, because this writer's strike, they're in it for the long haul, and the actors have joined.
Yeah, like as soon as it happened, I messaged a couple friends of mine that I know are like I normally talk to about movies and whatnot, and was just like, well, better enjoy what we're getting this summer because anything that's not in post-production right now is not being made. And if it's in post-production and needs reshoots, which I think the reshoots aren't happening. My guess is that they'd go ahead and just finish it, but like we are going to hit a dearth of content here soon. So get your Netflix ready, get your Hulu ready, because that's what we're going to have. Unless you
start watching wrestling, guys. And then you can listen to my other podcast, Let Me Book a Territory, every Friday.
Good plug.
Cheap plug,
But yeah, like, I don't know if you saw the news. I'm kind of hoping to surprise you with this a little bit. Did you see what Disney is going to air on ABC this fall?
Miss Marvel, yes.
Yeah. they're going to take a Disney Plus show and actually stick it on the network, because otherwise we're just watching the 7th iteration of Bachelor or Bachelorette. There's going to be one for every day of the week. It's going to be
Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh, no. It's going to be the Bachelorette Monday and the Bachelorette Tuesday and the Bachelorette Wednesday. Like, there's no going anywhere. It's just right there in the mansion.
Different color rose for each day.
Absolutely.
Will you take this white Monday rose, this blue Tuesday rose? That's funny. So it's crazy. This whole writer strike kind of started with. It really started with like the whole thing about streaming. And I think as much as we all love streaming, we're starting to see that it's really gonna, if the studios don't start paying out, it's gonna kill the entire entertainment industry in America as we know it. And I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that. So you're starting to learn that writers aren't getting residuals from streaming services, and then comes out neither are actors, because when these contracts were written up and they were basic, streaming services didn't exist, and they haven't been updated to include that. So, and now what you're starting to see is A, that's happening. B, series are getting canceled before writers start getting real residuals on them, so never shall have to pay them, even with the updated contracts. And then you're also seeing them kind of smaller writers' rooms so that they don't have to pay as many writers. Or
you have a Batgirl situation where literally the entire movie was finished and they just go, no, we need to write this off for taxes.
Well, that's a whole different thing. And then another layer to this writer's strike is the emergence of what's going to kill us all one day, artificial intelligence.
Which, hey, I happen to, work with, so I have a pretty deep understanding of what this is.
That's why you're here, sir. You can have an AI spit you out a script in 3 minutes or less, and then you're starting to think, why do I need writers? And
yeah, you need an AI editor, which is a real position that I have seen at websites, where the AI editor will give an AI like ChatGPT a prompt, and then get the result back, look through it, edit it for, make it sound more like a human wrote it, or maybe fix a mistake here or there, and then throw it up. And AI editors produce content like, I wish that I had an actual number, more than twice as fast as an actual writer would. It is at an obscene, I wish I had the job listing in front of me. It is obscene the number of articles that an AI editor is supposed to get up in a week. We're talking like 50, 60, 70 articles in a week. Maybe it was higher than that.
So, Henrods, we're just going to talk writers real quick. Yeah. What do you think the craziest part about it is? Is it the streaming part? Is it the AI part? Is it the studios just not being willing to sit down? Which part do you think is just like the most obscene part about this?
I mean, I would love to say that I think if we include the studio just refusing to sit down and talk, that has to be it. Right. The studio doesn't exist without its writers and actors, and just to offer them one thing and say, all right, here's what we're offering you. No. Can we talk about it? Nope. Okay. Well, bye. Like, the studio can't exist without these people.
Right.
Well, we'll get to the way that they can here in a second. But on the
surface, what I really find interesting? You know what I really find interesting is that the tech companies don't want to come to the table. The Amazon, the Apple, the ones that are just gotten into this content game now, but they're the ones who can afford all of the writers' demands without blinking an eye, because this isn't like a super revenue thing for them. It might be a loss leader to get you to buy the newest Apple product or to keep your Amazon Prime going. Like, they can meet these demands, they just refuse to. unlike these studios who like this is their entire business model, as flawed as it is.
Yeah, because studios
and their pay structure.
I think everything but Netflix loses money. I'm pretty sure every streaming service except Netflix loses money. So,
yeah. But again, if Amazon Prime is losing $1 billion a year, they make that up in an hour.
Oh yeah, Prime Day just happened, and like randomly at softball, somebody was just like, "Yeah, I dropped like $500 on Prime Day." Like,
yeah,
okay,
guys, don't ever forget Optimus Prime. The reason we have Prime Day. R.I.P. to Prime.
Something tells me that's not right, but you do you, Dubs.
Hey man, Optimus Prime died for our sins in 1985. I watched that movie and cried like a baby. It was rough.
But
it was a rough time for me.
But yeah, so like, I don't want to say it. I can see where studios are coming from in that we need to figure out something with streaming. Taking money from actors and writers probably isn't the solution. It's just the easiest one to them because what are people to billion-dollar corporations?
Well, so here's my counter argument to that is saying we have to figure out something with streaming. We figured it out. License all your content out.
Yeah,
but now they want to shutter all their content back in, and they want to do this tech thing, this thing that they're not set up to do.
So when you say license all your content out, you're talking about like when
like Paramount shouldn't exist. Paramount Plus, whatever the fuck it's called now, should not exist.
I agree.
All your content, they should spread their content out and just, get the licensing fees, and that's money.
But at the same time, that sucks for users, right? Like Disney and HBO are at this point known for removing their own stuff off their platform to go sell to Netflix or somebody else. I pay for HBO Plus. If that's the case, why can I not watch not HBO Plus, HBO Max, or just Max, I guess it's called now. Why can I not watch every Max original on there? Because
Max is not making money.
I understand that.
Off of their subscription model.
But there are things that were made specifically for Max, or we'll use Hulu. Looking for Alaska or Searching for Alaska. I can never remember what it is. It's based off John Green book. It was one of Hulu's first originals. Went to go watch it the other day. Gone. Not licensed out anywhere. Just gone.
They don't want to pay residuals on it.
So, like, I understand, and trust me, I it's so weird saying that I wish it were just all on Netflix, because that sounds like a cable thing again, where you just go to cable and watch whatever's on there. But, like, it sucks that, you're right, everybody wants to have their own stuff, Paramount and Peacock and whatever else, the small ones that fewer people subscribe to, and that cost to entry for those specific things, because they know that people will pay just to watch The Office, whereas they would make more money and also open it up to a wider group of people by sending it off to Netflix. I get that, but it also sucks that if we are learning digital content does not last forever.
So the reason it doesn't last forever is because they don't want to pay the residuals out to the people that they're due, because they're already not making money on having these platforms. So my point is, stop having the platform. We had this very nice ecosystem in 2014, 2015, where it was Netflix, Hulu, everybody had Amazon Prime, and then you were good, and you were good. You could get damn near everything you wanted, and you were good. And then I'm gonna give you a little inside baseball here. A law expired that there was a law that was on the books for a long time since the creation of Hollywood that said studios couldn't put out their own content on their own platforms, essentially. So, and it was this law basically, and they were saying when this happens, when this law expires, because they were not going to renew it because God, forbid Congress does anything to help us, that you were going to see studios pull all of their shit off of every platform and then make their own platforms. And to quote the great Jeff Goldblum, they were so concerned with what they could do, they weren't sure. Like, why should we? Or whatever the fuck the quote is.
Yeah.
They did it, and I don't think these studios realize how much running a tech operation like a Hulu or Amazon Prime or Netflix actually cost. Like, I think had they all just went to Netflix and say, hey, when did you guys start making money? And Netflix look at them and say, make money? That's fucking hilarious. Or if they actually went to Jack Dorsey at Twitter and was like, hey, so how's your business model, subscribers? How do you make money? Jack Dorsey's like, make money? What the fuck do you think this is, buddy? They would have realized, like, the subscription model, it's a loss leader to gain data that you sell. They didn't realize that. So, and I'd be willing to bet that some of their advertisers are just on the same deals that they were on with the network. And they're like, hey, for an extra couple of $100,000, not only are your commercials going to air on NBC proper, they're going to be on Peacock too. And the the sponsors are like, fuck yeah, do it. Well, what they don't realize is that all these apps are data mining to collect data to sell it.
Yeah, I mean, data is king, right? Like, that is...
Because
why do you think Facebook's
a kilobyte
free?
of data is worth gold? Exactly. It's a phrase by an old pimp. If the product is free, then you the product.
Yep.
And even it gets even to a point now, like, you can almost say inflation. If the product is $10 a month, you the product. It's really that simple. Had they realized that and said, all right, let's not shutter all our shit together and then try to do subscription things because we don't understand how to sell data because that's not what the fuck we do, they wouldn't be in this situation. But they did that, and now they're not willing to come to the table. And the writers, they've been preparing for this for what sounds like almost a decade. They got a big fund saved up to help out writers who need it. And they're like, we're not coming back. And now
the residual,
the actors are with them.
As much as it was the residuals, like AI, I do think was we need to go now. Like that.
Yeah.
Because think about, I don't know how much our listeners are using it. My friends that I graduated with tell me they use it every day. ChatGPT is up on their computer every single day for them to use. And you're right, it can kick out a script instantaneously. So
I've used it to come up with content for the pods. So it's very useful, but it's scary.
Yeah. And it's only going to get better, right? Not to go too deep into how AI works, but the gist of it is, it used to be that if you gave too much information to a machine learning model, it would the results wouldn't be what you would hope. It would take that information and hone its result way too close to it. With deep learning, which is like this subset of machine learning and what we think of as AI, it can take an infinite amount of information and just continually get better. It does not have that hard limit like machine learning does. So the more you give it, the better it gets. The version of ChatGPT that we're using, I believe, was completed a year and a half or 2 years ago. There's a newer version that people that pay for ChatGPT can use, and then there's a newer version being trained. Like, it just gets better over time. So it might kick out bad scripts right now. 2 years from now, it might kick out an Oscar winner. I don't know. And
in 10 years, we'll be fighting the machines, baby.
I've seen The Matrix.
I've seen The Matrix. I've seen Terminator. Yep. Those are all prophecies.
Writers, I would say are right that they need to fight against the use of AI in their industry, as do, and it's not just Hollywood writers that's covered by. I think a lot of,
and apparently the actors need to fight against it too.
Yep, that's where I was going next. So the fun, in quotes, part of deep learning is that it can not only do writing, it can do images and video as well. So a tweet came out from a Twitter account called Discussing Film, and they did not say the studio that asked to do this, but they told actors, hey, we will give you 1 day's pay for you to come in and allow us to scan you. But in return, we get to use you as an...
This was season 4 of Snowblind.
Snowblind?
I think the show with the train going around the world. Yes, that.
Yeah. Based off of John.
Snowblind.
Based off a movie.
I don't know where I got that from.
Very good. Based off a Bong Joon-ho movie. He made Parasite and won Best Picture for it. Anyway, I digress. They offered the actor, come in for a day, let us scan you, but we'll pay you 1 day's pay for it. However, we are allowed to use your likeness in AI forever, and we will not pay you. Because AI, once it sees your movements and has seen enough movements, you can just tell it, hey, I want this person to move in this way. And it can create that video for you. In fact, deepfakes are probably, to me, the scariest part of AI. Because since we can do video with it, and since it can be trained and learn video, just imagine a video of Joe Biden saying something about North Korea or Russia and using his voice, because we can also fake voices with AI. It can hear a sample and then spit out anything that you want. It's like the Drake AI song or the Kendrick AI song. I think they both had ones come out that got pretty big on the internet.
Those Drake AI songs were really fucking good. They were really fucking good.
So like Marquez Brownlee, a big YouTuber, a tech YouTuber, heard one of those songs and legitimately did not know it was AI until he was told later. Like, it can trick even the most in the field people if you don't know to look for it. And so obviously then it can be used for actors in movies. Why pay an actor when you can just scan every single film they've ever been in and then have them in your film without them ever being on set?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like, you can be able to use someone's likeness in perpetuity for forever. It's funny, this is what brought down NCAA football, is that they were using their likeness without paying these kids, and they tried to get around it by not putting their names on it, but they're like, no, that's still me.
That's my number?
98 speed, that's me.
That's my number.
Because you know what? The guy who was wearing this number last year did not have 98 speed. So, and it's funny, I say that I bring my whole world around because I am now a sports agent. Shout out to everybody. Anyways, so it's just funny, like you look at that and you're like, man, how do studios look in the mirror and just like steal from these people that they've been dependent on for so long? I don't understand it. I really don't.
Greed is good.
All right, calm down there, devil's advocate.
Oh, it's from Wall Street. It's Gordon Gekko. Come on, Dubs.
I know. Hold on, I'm trying to find this other tweet I found out about this. So, remember Mara Wilson?
Yes.
Who was Matilda?
Yeah. Or in Miracle on 34th Street as well.
Exactly. So she put out a tweet recently, I'm trying to find it on her timeline here, about how she's never been able to like apply for SAG-AFTRA healthcare because her residual checks have been so low, even though she was in Matilda, which is one of the most famous movies of all time, and she was on a Disney show for pretty much her entire childhood. So that's another thing the actors are fighting for is these residual checks. Like, they have just been fucking over these actors for so long. Like, it almost makes you realize, like, yo, damn, this really has to be a dream of yours, because unless you become one of the big dogs, it's not that lucrative.
No. I want to say I was watching an interview with somebody. I don't remember where it was, YouTube, or maybe it was on the news. And one of the people protesting for SAG-AFTRA who said there was one time he was $50 short from getting the insurance through residual checks. And like, I get it. At some point there has to be a cutoff, and somebody's always going to be screwed over by being just that much short. But man, that sucks to hear. Like,
yeah, that's a rough one.
Like, that people, even well-known people like Mara Wilson, if you don't recognize the name, you would at least recognize the person. Like, can't hit that minimum. I have to wonder what the minimum is then, because Miracle on 34th Street is shown all the time on TV during Christmas.
And Matilda's on every streaming service, but yeah, like, it's crazy. Like, and it's funny to think, like, how much we love streaming, and you're realizing that it's like, it's not good for the creators, like, at all, unless you become a super crazy viral mega star, a Logan Paul, a kid opening toys and shit. Like, you can't just like have entertainment be your job if you don't become one of these crazy successful acts. And it makes you kind of understand why some rappers are still out here selling drugs. I mean, I get it. Like, for example, Fetty Wap. Yeah. You know Fetty Wap's in prison now, right? Not. Oh yeah, for drug distribution. So when the pandemic started, he couldn't go on tour. Fetty Wap makes all of his money on touring because the residual checks he would get from his music, which, Henry, you remember, was everywhere. Yeah. He had 6 songs in the Billboard Top 10 at one point. It was everywhere. And he still has like a couple 100,000 listeners on the streaming apps. But those checks are so small, he can't afford anything if he just tried to depend on those. So he made all his money on touring, and he was totally fine with that. Just being on the road all the time. Sure, it's an exhausting but fun life. But once that money dried up, he had to go back to what he knew. And what he knew how to do was sell dope.
Live fact checking.
And got caught.
On Spotify, Fetty Wap has 8.5 million monthly listeners.
Exactly. And still can't make do with that.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I'm sure it's somewhere. I'm sure somebody is a number, but I can't even imagine how low the residual percentage has to be for a lot of this stuff. Right? Unless your show is like syndicated, then you've struck it big, right? Like, I would imagine the people all the actors on Big Bang Theory have to still be making bank, or Friends when it was syndicated, and didn't they still get like $1 million an episode, something like that?
Not syndication, no.
All right, it was something high then. But either way, like, unless your show hits that level, and even then, Friends is on streaming services, I doubt they're pulling any sort of money from that, or not what they probably should be. So yeah, it's wild. Like I said, I understand the residuals, money drives everything, but at the same time, I do think AI was what really pushed it forward and was like, hey, we have to do this now. Because if we don't, not only will the money dry up from residuals, but now we won't get new work either. So
in theory, every single one of Fetty Wap's listeners, the 8.5 million of them, had to listen to at least one Fetty Wap song per month for him to get $25,000. They all have to. All of them.
Jeez. That's ridiculous.
All of them. And you know, like, you can just click follow an artist and like you'll be added to that count. That doesn't mean you listen to Fetty Wap song. I've listened to a Fetty Wap song in 3 months. And there's plenty more people who have him on playlists who are part of that number who don't listen to that playlist all the time. And there's so much music out there. So let's say he has, I don't know, 50,000 dedicated users who have his songs on playlists that they play every week, or every month, I should say. He gets at least one listen out of 50,000 people a month. He get $150.
Yeah.
$150.
Literally, might as well be nothing.
In comparison, when record sales were still a thing, remember record sales? We had to go buy an album.
Like the circular things that you used to put in. Those.
So let's say Fetty Wap had a great deal. He was getting 60 cents per album sold. If he sold $50,000 records, say a couple weeks, he made $30,000. Better yet, let's say, what was it? Trap Queen. Trap Queen probably went platinum on the streams, right?
I believe it was.
Let's say
over 1 billion. Yeah.
Over 1 billion.
Yep.
Okay.
1,055 million streams.
So hold on, let me do some number comparison. Streams to album sales calculator. There we go. So 1,500 streams is one album sale. So let's do some math here, guys. We'll go 1 billion, one more zero, divided by 100. I want to say 1,500.
I thought so.
Yeah, 1,500. So that is, wow, 666. The devil's number. Weird. That's 666 album sales. Again, let's say he had a great record deal and was getting 60 cents a record. So times 0.6. That's $400,000. Now,
that is $400,000 over 8 years.
Yes.
But again, that's one album, assuming he didn't ever put out any other music.
Right. Yeah, like it's I got to be zeros here. Anyways, yeah. So just think about like how crazy that is. Like just how those numbers break down. And from what I've heard, it's worse for TV. It is way worse for TV from what I've heard. And then, you get into what the YouTube streamers are making, and it's so funny. Like, I remember the original writer's strike is what this was about too. And them correcting it was saying, hey, we'll add in, streaming to new contracts and stuff. So now they figured out we're just going to cancel shit before it gets to that third season where we really got to start paying these writers. There's plenty of Netflix shows where people are like, yo, this is really good. Oh, okay. Cancel it. No, we can't have a third season of this.
I mean,
because then we got to start paying people.
If we want to get into Netflix canceling shows, Netflix, I believe, will only look at how many streams it has had within the first 2 or 3 weeks. If that number's not high enough for them, they consider it not going viral enough, and they will cancel it.
They cancel some really good shows too.
Yeah.
But HBO Max is the same way. Like, if it's not going viral for them, they will cancel it. which begs the question. I am very surprised the Righteous Gemstones has survived, because I felt like it was me and 3 other people talking about that show for a while, and it started to catch fire. And good God, that show is hilarious.
Yeah, sorry. Also, to step back for a second, if you want to talk other streaming services, I mean, Twitch and Kick, right? If you want to talk live streaming services, it's not just YouTube anymore. Or just streaming on the internet in general. It's not just YouTube, right? Twitch is big for gaming. Kick just handed out an unconditional $100 million contract to somebody. Like,
we'll see that's different, because those are tech companies doing tech things.
Kick is gambling company, so.
Well, then that's completely different.
I know, but you mentioned like streaming in other spaces, and I just figured like compare something like that to.
Yeah, but like those guys are like, they understand, like, they're not trying to like do the content thing and then shutter content in. They're just saying, hey, we got this, pay for it. I don't give a fuck, pay for it. Which is so we're asking the studios and these tech companies to do with these writers and actors. You got this content, pay for it. And you can't produce it without them, so pay for it. And that's what DraftKings is getting ready to do. I'm gonna let guys in on a big secret. They're getting ready to dive into the TV space. Heavy.
So
heavy.
This is super, super rumor stuff based on some of the CEO of Disney's comments. It sounded like everything was on the table, including a sale of ESPN.
They've been talking about selling ESPN for 10 years. ESPN's been hemorrhaging money.
But you just mentioned DraftKings. I think it's possible that one of those companies might just buy it.
Just buy ESPN? That would not shock me. But yeah, because like they're gonna get into that space heavy, and they can treat it like the loss leader it is, because for DraftKings, guess what? Advertising sales on a network is not their revenue stream at all. It's toilet paper. And I think it's very interesting, like with these firings coming up at ESPN, where they laid off a bunch of people, boy. And with the CEO of Meadowlark Media being the old ESPN president, John Skipper, he gonna scoop all his friends up. I was explaining this to my mother because she was upset that Jalen Rose got let go. I said, Jalen Rose gonna get a big check from whoever he decides to go to, because he is worth that amount of money. And I told her it's probably going to be DraftKings, and they're probably going to pay him a stupid amount of money, because they got it and they get it every day. It's very interesting. Yeah.
All right.
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Embrace the Turn Up podcast. Pay all your creators. Me and Henrod stand with the SAG and AFTA. Fight the power.
And WAG.
We hope to see everybody get paid.
WGA.
Because as much as I love trashy reality, I don't love all of it.
Don't forget game shows. We're going to see a ton of game shows too.
Hot Wheels. Hey man, build some Hot Wheels and get it judged by the Asian dude from Fast and Furious. Yeah.
Wait, is that actually one of them?
Yes. Okay. No.
I was thinking like the Cube with Wade, which
that's
is also going to be everywhere this fall.
Nope. Build your own custom Hot Wheels track hosted by Joel McHale and have it judged by random celebrities. Yes, that's a fucking thing, Henry.
Welcome to TV in 2043. That is a thing.
I tell you what, man.
It's a wasteland right now. Fingers crossed the studios get their act together, because we need good content, please.
Guys, if you need something to watch, there's 15 hours of wrestling on every week. And they're telling stories. And those writers are not involved in the writer strike, because they don't, even though they technically do write a weekly television show, they consider it sports. So, boom. Anyway, with that being said, if you guys are looking for me, you know what it is. Hit me on the socials, ADUB1220. Hit the follow button, and I will destroy your algorithm with wrestling and filth. Not necessarily in that order. Henraz, are you back on the socials?
I never left. I just don't tweet or use Instagram. I never post pictures. I'm there as a lurker. I will read a lot and very, very rarely post.
So hit that follow button on Henraz, and then he'll follow back. And he will lurk all over your shit.
Sure
Henry, are you on Threads yet? Are you on Threads yet?
I do have a Threads account.
Are you lurking on Threads?
We didn't even get to that mess, but that's a different podcast.
That's a whole nother discussion. Yeah. Threads is an interesting place. It's like Twitter before old people and trolls. So it's still fun.
I feel like if I started talking about Threads, we'd go for another 20 minutes and you've already wrapped up. So
all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Me and John might be back next week. I might do the Pudding Bay special that I keep putting off. I don't know yet. But until then, we are out.